I want to share some information with you since you're celebrating your sobriety. I want to share a study by Dr. Lance. There's a large body of evidence now looking at AA success rate, and the success rate is between 5 and 10%. Most people don't seem to know this because it's not widely publicized. There are some studies that have claimed to show that scientifically that AA is useful. However, these studies are riddled with scientific errors, and they say no more than what we already know, which is that AA is probably the worst success rate in all of medicine. It's not only just 5 to 10% success rate. If it was successful and was neutral, the rest of the time, it'd be okay. But it's harmful to 90% that don't do well. It's harmful for several different reasons. One of them is that everyone believes that AA is the right treatment. AA is never wrong. Well, if you fail AA, it's not AA's fault, it's yours, according to them. The reason that the 10% do well actually does not have anything to do with the 12 steps. It has to do with the camaraderie.
I'm gonna stop you right there, man. I didn't use the word addiction at all. Go watch my video again. All I was simply doing was celebrating. 3 years for a guy like me is a long fucking time compared to almost 20. I have the right to celebrate. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Are you finished with your child rant about how special you are and what you deserve? Because I think you misunderstand what I'm trying to give you. And I don't understand where this hostility is coming from, but I would check into some therapy for that. What I was trying to explain is the true definition of addiction and what it's doing and how it's used and how you apply it to your life. But you didn't hear any of that. Apparently your ego is a monster and has lied to you, told you that I'm attacking you. That's not true. I was helping. Now you're probably asking yourself, why are you telling me this? Well, I noticed on your screen there that you have your day count of the last day you were sober, and I wanted to make you aware that your thought process of holding on to the last day that you drank is the addiction, and it will not allow you to overcome addiction as long as you continue to keep that date and keep track of how many days you've been sober, because technically you're still in that process of thinking about alcohol nonstop every day. And I am trying to suggest that you might want to change your mind. Now let's break down that word addiction. The term is composed of two main parts, the prefix ad and the root dict. The prefix ad comes from Latin, and it means to or toward. The root, dict, is derived from Latin word, dicere, meaning to say or to declare. When we combine these elements, we get a sense of speaking to or declaring towards something. It's as if the word itself is trying to tell us about a force that compels us to move in a certain direction, to declare our allegiance or something beyond control. Linguistic structure isn't unique to English. Many languages have terms for addiction that carry similar connotations of being bound or compelled. For instance, German, Sucht, is related to suchen, to seek, suggesting a constant searching or craving. The French, dependance, emphasizes the state of relying on something external. The cross-linguistic comparisons reveal common thread. It's a reminder that while the specifics may vary, the human experience of compulsion and dependency is universal. Understanding the root of the word addicted and addiction gives us valuable insight into how we've conceptualized and addressed this complex human experience throughout history. It reminds us that our words have power, the power to stigmatize, but also power to heal and transform. Next time you hear the word addiction,
take a moment to reflect
on its rich history, from a Roman legal term to a modern medical diagnosis. It's a word that has truly been on a journey, and in many ways, its evolution mirrors our own journey towards understanding and addressing humanity's most persistent challenges. However, our understanding of addiction as a complex
brain disorder
has grown. So too has the push for more compassionate science-based approaches to treatment. The language we use matters. It shapes policy, influences treatment approaches, and affects how individuals view their own struggles with addiction. Consider the difference between saying he's an addict versus he has an addiction. The former suggests fixed identity, while the latter suggests it can be addressed. The etymology of the word addiction isn't just a matter for linguistic profession. It has real-world implication for how we perceive and treat those struggling with addictive behaviors. The word's origins and concepts of slavery and bondage have contributed to the stigmatizing attitudes towards addiction. After all, if someone is enslaved to a substance
or behavior,
it's easy to see them as weak-willed or morally flawed. Today, addiction has taken on a life of its own in medical and psychological circles. Current definitions have expanded far beyond the realm of substance use disorders. The American Psychological Association defines addiction as a complex condition, a brain disease, manifested by compulsive substance use despite harmful consequences. So it's not about the chemicals in your body. It's about the chemicals creating a brain disease, a thought process. But here's where it gets really interesting. The concept of addiction has grown to encompass behaviors which come from thought, as well as substance. We now recognize behavioral addictions such as gambling disorder, which share many of the same neurological and psychological hallmarks as substance addiction. This expansion of the term reflects growing understanding of the brain's reward system and how it can be hijacked by both chemical substances
and repetitive behavior.
It's a testament to how our language evolves alongside our scientific knowledge, constantly reshaping our understanding of human experiences. During the Middle Ages and Renaissance, the word started to be used more figuratively. It described a strong devotion or dedication to something, be it a person, a cause, or an
activity.
In the 17th and 18th century, we saw another shift in the word's usage. It began to be associated more specifically
With habitual behavior.
particularly those seen as negative or self-destructive. This period coincided with increased global trade and availability of substances like tobacco and opium. As these substances became more prevalent, so did concerns about their habitual use. By the 19th century, the medical community had started to take notice. The term addiction began its journey into the realm of medical diagnosis. The Latin word addicus wasn't associated with substance abuse or compulsive behaviors as we know them today. Instead, it referred to a person who had been sentenced to slavery due to unpaid debts. Imagine the weight of that word. To be addicted meant to be bound, enslaved, given over to another. This legal term carried a sense of surrender, of yielding oneself to a higher power or authority. It's not hard to see how this concept would later evolve to describe the seemingly uncontrollable urges associated with what we now call addiction. The transition from legal term to medical concept didn't happen overnight. It was a gradual shift that mirrored changing societal attitudes and understanding of human behavior. As we trace the linguistic evolution, it's fascinating to see how the core idea of being bound or enslaved has persisted, even as the context has shifted dramatically. Today, when we speak of someone being addicted to a substance or behavior, we're still invoking that ancient notion of being bound or given over to something beyond one's control. The etymology of addiction isn't just a matter for linguistic nerds. It has real-world implications for how we perceive and treat those struggling with addictive behavior. The word's origins and concepts of slavery and bondage have contributed to the stigmatizing attitudes towards addiction. After all, if someone is enslaved to a substance or behavior, it's easy to see them as weak-willed or morally flawed. As we continue to grapple with addiction in its many forms, let's remember the lessons its etymology teaches us. Our language shapes our understanding, and our understanding shapes our actions. By being mindful of the words we use, we can contribute to a more compassionate, effective approach to addressing addiction in our society. After all,
Words have the power to bind.
but they also have the power to set free. And in the realm of addiction, that's a power we should wield wisely.